Well, good day and I love you. And welcome to the drip with honey. I finally figured it out. I finally figured out what it's going to be called and who I'm going to be. Yes, because of the synchronicities in my life. So my name is Heather Peterson Lockhart, and I am the chiefess. But I be honey. By choice. Yes, I have done a whole lot of evolving and allowed a whole lot of possibility. I have permitted a whole lot of pleasure. In order for me to be who I want to be. And her name be Honeybee Vitality. Yes. So now that we have that figured out, we can go home. Yeah. I've been working on that for a really long time. Like lifetimes. I'm serious. So I've been coming over and over again, wanting to allow my being, right? And today a whole bunch has come full center because of the synchronicities in my life, and I am afforded a different viewpoint. And I haven't even processed this all. I want to tell you about my rising today, and about how life is talking to us at every given second. And if we learn to read the signs and pay attention to the vital information being given at every given second, then we are afforded so much goodness. And so much information and so much guidelines would be like, if I ask a question, the answers are given, okay? If I ask a question, the answers are given. But am I paying attention to the answers? Do I know how to interpret them when given? Do I know how to notice them? Second, and receive them, because there's a paying attention and there's an energetic reception, right? And then, do I know how to process them? Do I know what to do with them? You know? So I am sitting outside my son's physical therapy appointment. And on the way here, I was, let's call it, avidly involved in the conversation with my son. I was hollering at him a little bit, right? And I was driving too fast and I got pulled over. And it was a trip, because I really do try to do the right thing now and mind the rules, and although I do drive too fast and drink too much coffee. But anyway, I got pulled over, and so when homeboy walks up to the car, I go, I was yelling at my son, I'm sorry, right? And so he asks for my license and goes back to his car. And I was like, oh geez, I was in one of those spots where you're getting on a what do you call it, a parkway, and everybody's going 15, 20 over the speed limit. So I really didn't know how much faster I was going, and I was sitting there thinking about how, well, this blows, because I was totally speeding. And then I was like, but it doesn't blow that much, because I'm sober and I don't have an arrest warrant on my record that he's about to pull up, like I did one time when I jumped off a 3-story building. Oh my God, let's talk about synchronicity. So one time I was acting a fool in my house, and my fiance at the time called the cops. And what he did not know was that I had a warrant for my arrest and a new bottle of vodka upstairs underneath the bed. And so I wanted one and not the other. So when he called the cops, we lived in a townhome, and a 3-story townhome, and so he answered the door at the ground floor, and I went all the way to the top where the kitchen was, where my children were sitting at the breakfast bar eating breakfast. And I kissed them both on the cheek and said, Mommy loves you. And like a psycho, I opened the sliding glass door and I jumped out off of the deck and started to jog off. Yeah, so it was really not that uncomfortable today waiting in the car while the cop was running my stuff in the grand scheme of things, right? So then his little serious self walks back over, and he said I was driving 15 over, and he's letting me go with a warning. And I was like, what? And I looked at him and I go, I'm sorry. Thank you. I need to slow down. Because he said, he goes, you need to slow down. And I was like, I need to slow down. I need to slow down in a lot of aspects of my life. I was like, I was hollering at my son and I had a heavy foot. And he's kind of like grinning at me, I think, because I'm like really like seeing that I need to slow down. Like not just in my car, but whoa, thanks, buddy. Like, thank you. Right? Like God talking through cute cup. And he kind of grins. And it was funny because he was such a serious demeanor. And then he walks back to his car. And I'm like, holy crap, saying to my son, because I forget if it's like, what, 15 or 20 over, that they can just like arrest you on the spot, right? So, and then I'm just thinking about how, and then I say to my son, I go, and then I get all teary-eyed and I go, I don't know if I can get this out without crying. And I said, it used to be, and here we go again. All right. And I have I have a tissue. I have a warning ticket and I have a tissue. So I said, it used to be that if you ran my info, it might be coming back bad for me. I said, do you know what he might have just found out? And I said, when he ran my name, I was like, do you know how many times I have called the cops in this county to help another? And he was like giggling, because like Spirit puts me in some really cool places at some really cool times, and I'm able to really cool be of service. And I often call the police. And so I was like, that's such a trip to go from this person that literally that incident earned me the name The Jumper in Prince William County, Virginia, and now in Gwinnett County, Georgia. My name might be on there in other capacities. Maybe it's not. Maybe he just was, you know, a nice dude and gave me a break today. And that God was speaking through him, telling me to slow down. I don't know. I'm not trying to toot my own horn as much as I am saying it's really cool to be a human that has gone from one end of polarity to the other. And I'm now trying to find some middle ground. But anyway, so I'm like, I need to slow down, right? So then I'm saying something to my son, and then on the way here, and then I stop because there's this big deer right on the side of the road, right? And I stop as I see her, but I did not stop before. I stopped like on her, right? And then I look right at her. She looks right at me. She's got a sweet little baby with her. And I understand, like and it was a trip because then I stop, and then the cars behind me stop, and she doesn't run away. And so she was waiting for passage, and had I seen her just a little bit before, I'd have been able to stop my car and let her walk in front of me, like many a mama and her baby deer have done. And it was another message in like, Heather, slow down. Like if you had really been paying attention, you would have seen the deer. There was a huge ass deer on the side of the road, like before you were on her, you know? And then, so I said, I need to slow down. And my son just looks at me like, yeah, hello. Right? And then we get to his physical therapy appointment, and we're walking in, and we push the button for the elevator, and right as the elevator door opens, I'm about to walk on. Never mind that this older woman needs to exit the elevator. And so I literally bow my head and pull myself back, and I said, I apologize. I need to slow down. And she grinned at me, and she came out. And I thought, if ever you were in wonder what the lesson of the day is, Heather, Spirit be speaking, you know? Spirit be speaking. I really am gracious to slow down and feel the flow of the earth and her tempo today. And it is different than it was. For those that are tuned in, we know this. The flow is different. The way you show up on earth today is different. The beacons of information stream differently, as is the receiving of these beacons. You know, we are moving from a head resonance to a heart resonance. And so learning to navigate through the whispers of the heart is a different experience from the boom of the brain. The whispers of the heart versus the boom of the brain. Very different vibrations. So for today, I will slow down gratefully. Gratefully. And I feel like I want to say this, and if y'all want to say it with me, you can. Repeat these words after me if you so choose. I am a tool of God's use. I am a beacon of God's love. And I am an instrument of God's will. And all is well with my soul. And it is the absolute truth. The thing I'm here for is to experience itself in the unique perspective of Heather. And that's not really doable if I'm going too fast to feel. And to think if I go so fast that I don't get to feel, I waste this exclusive, unique opportunity as an expression of the source itself. Doesn't that make you feel yummy? Doesn't that make you feel delicious, desirable? And that you should really pay attention to your own experience and how it's happening, because you're really in service to the collective by honoring that which streams from within you, through you, from you, that you are then the instrument of interpretation of the experience itself through the source on earth in a unique vibration. Isn't that cool? Think about that. The music streams from the Almighty, right? It streams to your instrument if you are listening. If you are listening to interpret, then you can assimilate the music or the information. You can assimilate, you can read the music, and then you may begin to play in the perfect harmonious vibration from your attuned instrument, in tune with the experience. That's so yummy. That's so yummy. So beautiful. So, I be, honey, I be. I can do everything and say everything and see everything beautifully. That's my love today. I would say it's my goal, but I'd rather play in love versus goals. Thank you for being here today. I truly do love you. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel if you're interested in joining the village. You can hit the link below. If you want to work with me personally, email me. I love you. I love you. I love you.